World War II was a monumental period in history, marked by unparalleled bravery, tragedy and global upheaval. Today we are taking a cinematic journey through 20 films that depict the war's major events in chronological order, offering not just powerful historical insight but also remarkable storytelling and craft. So buckle up and join me, Trev, at WN Movie Talk for the chronological story of World War II in cinema. In the early 1930s, Hitler seized upon Germany's post-World War I economic hardship and national humiliation, using charisma, propaganda and violence to propel himself to absolute power. This rise is chillingly dramatised in Hitler, The Rise of Evil from 2003, where Robert Carlyle delivers a disturbingly effective portrayal of Hitler's transformation from disillusioned veteran into the Führer. On the other side of the channel, The Gathering Storm from 2002 offers a quieter but no less urgent story, with Albert Finney portraying Winston Churchill in the years leading up to the war. His warnings about Hitler's ambitions are ignored by many, underscoring just how blind the world was to the threat ahead. The spark that ignited the global conflict came on September 1st, 1939, when German forces invaded Poland using blitzkrieg tactics, lightning-fast assaults combining infantry, tanks and air power. Roman Polanski's The Pianist from 2002, based on the memoir of Polish-Jewish pianist Władysław Szpilman, personalises his history with haunting clarity. Adrian Brody won an Oscar for his deeply human performance as we follow Szpilman's struggle to survive in a city torn apart by occupation and cruelty. By the spring of 1940, Germany had turned its sights on Western Europe. France was quickly overrun and Allied forces found themselves trapped on the beaches of Dunkirk. This miraculous evacuation that followed is vividly recreated in Dunkirk from 2017, Christopher Nolan's intense, time-bending war epic. Featuring a cast that includes Kenneth Branagh, Cillian Murphy and Tom Hardy, the film weaves together land, sea and air perspectives to immerse viewers in the urgency and terror of the retreat. With France fallen, Britain stood alone. Hitler launched a sustained aerial assault intending to bomb the United Kingdom into submission. The ensuing conflict, known as the Battle of Britain, was a test of endurance for the Royal Air Force. The Battle of Britain from 1969, directed by Guy Hamilton, dramatises this dogfight-filled chapter with a grand scale and technical authenticity, featuring stars like Michael Caine and Laurence Olivier. The film captures both strategic stakes and the sheer courage of the pilots who defended their homeland. As the bombing intensified, civilians in London and other major cities endured night after night of devastation during what became known as the Blitz. Despite the danger, the British spirit proved unbreakable. This resilience is captured beautifully in Hope and Glory, a semi-autobiographical film by John Boorman. Told through the eyes of a schoolboy, the movie blends the horrors of war with moments of warmth, humour and nostalgia, showing how ordinary people coped in extraordinary times. Are you enjoying this selection so far? If so, give us a like and subscribe to us for more content, and let us know in the comments if there are any films that you'd swap to tell this story differently. By June 1941, the Nazi war machine shifted east, launching Operation Barbarossa, an invasion of the Soviet Union on an unprecedented scale. The campaign would become one of the bloodiest in history, culminating in the brutal battle for Stalingrad. Stalingrad from 1993, directed by Joseph Vilsmeyer, offers a rare German perspective on this doomed campaign, portraying the psychological and physical collapse of soldiers trapped in freezing, apocalyptic conditions. It's a bleak but powerful meditation on the futility of war. The war widened again on December the 7th, 1941, when Japanese forces launched a surprise attack on the US naval base at Pearl Harbor. The world watched in horror as the Pacific exploded into conflict. From 1970's Tora 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 is a joint American and Japanese production that strives for balance and authenticity, depicting the lead up to the attack from both sides. Directed by Richard Fleischer, the film avoids melodrama in favour of procedural accuracy and strategic detail. Following Pearl Harbor, the Japanese Empire rapidly expanded through Southeast Asia. Spielberg's movie Empire of the Sun from 1987 captures the fallout in deeply personal terms. Steven Spielberg directs a young Christian Bale in his breakout role as a privileged British boy, separated from his parents and interned in a Japanese prison camp. Based on a novel by J.G. Ballard, the film explores war through a child's bewildered yet unflinching eyes. As Japanese momentum in the Pacific reached its peak, a crucial turning point arrived in June 1942 at the Battle of Midway. In just a few days, the US Navy dealt a crippling blow to Japan's carrier fleet. Roland Emmerich's 2019 movie Midway manages to blend spectacle with historical accuracy, drawing from real accounts and showcasing a strong ensemble cast. It's a patriotic and technically impressive depiction of a pivotal naval victory. Back in the deserts of North Africa, Allied and Axis forces clashed in a campaign that stretched from 1940 to 1943. It was a theatre of extremes, harsh terrain, tank warfare and legendary leadership. Patton from 1970 is the definitive cinematic portrayal of this front, anchored by George C. Scott's Oscar-winning performance as the brilliant but controversial American general. Written by Francis Ford Coppola, the film is as much a psychological profile as it is a war epic, dissecting the ego and ambition that drove Patton's successes and failures. At the halfway mark, what are your thoughts so far? Have you seen any of these picks? Drop a comment and share your favourite World War II films, or let us know what gems you think deserve a place on this timeline. Following the success of the North African campaign, the Allies turned their attention to southern Europe. In 1943, the invasion of Sicily marked a critical step in opening a new front. The success of this campaign was aided by an extraordinary act of deception known as Operation Mincemeat. The 2021 film Operation Mincemeat dramatises this daring plan, in which British intelligence used a corpse carrying falsified documents to mislead the Nazis into thinking Greece, not Sicily, was the target. It's a gripping story of strategy and subterfuge that played a vital role in paving the way for Mussolini's downfall and the Allied advance into mainland Italy. The next major milestone came on June 6, 1944. D-Day, the largest amphibious invasion in history. Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy under withering fire in an operation that marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe. The Longest Day from 1962 is a sweeping war epic with an all-star international cast which meticulously recreates the events of the entire day, offering perspectives from both the Allied and the Axis sides and emphasising the scale, strategy and sacrifice involved in Operation Overlord. Just 2 months later, in August 1944, came the liberation of Paris. After 4 years under Nazi occupation, French resistance fighters joined with advancing Allied troops to reclaim the capital. Remarkably, the city was spared widespread destruction thanks to a mix of diplomacy and defiance. The 1966 film Is Paris Burning captures the political tension and military urgency of this moment, dramatising the high-stakes decisions that determined the fate of one of Europe's great cities. As the war approached its climax, Hitler launched a desperate counter-offensive through the Ardennes in December 1944, the Battle of the Bulge. In freezing winter conditions, American forces held the line against the unexpected German assault. The 1965 film The Battle of the Bulge portrays this critical confrontation, emphasising the resilience and grit of the Allied troops who fought through snow and surprise to repel the last major German offensive on the Western Front. In February 1945, with victory in sight, Allied leaders Churchill, Roosevelt and Stalin met at the Yalta Conference to shape the post-war world. Their negotiations would lay the groundwork for the Cold War and redefine global politics for decades to come. The 1994 television film Then There Were Giants provides a dramatised but insightful look into the complexities of this historic summit, capturing both the unity and underlying tensions between the big three powers as they planned the final push towards Berlin and beyond. That final push culminated in the Battle of Berlin in April and May 1945. With Soviet forces encircling the capital, Hitler took his own life in his bunker, bringing the Third Reich to a definitive end. Downfall from 2004 is the widely acclaimed German movie which shows its unflinching portrayal of the dictator's last days. It offers a chilling, claustrophobic account of the collapse from within. Bruno Ganz's performance as Hitler remains one of the most haunting portrayals of the Nazi leader ever committed to film. As Allied forces swept through Europe, they uncovered the full horror of the Holocaust. In 1945, the liberation of concentration camps revealed the atrocities committed by the Nazis. Schindler's List from 1993, directed by Steven Spielberg, tells the remarkable true story of Oskar Schindler, a German industrialist who saved more than 1,000 Jews. The film's stark black and white cinematography and emotionally devastating performance make it one of the most powerful depictions of human courage and suffering ever put on screen. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, the Allies faced the bloodiest battle of the entire war, the Battle of Okinawa, fought from April to June 1945. This brutal clash was a key stepping stone for the planned invasion of Japan. Hacksaw Ridge from 2016 tells the incredible true story of Desmond Doss, a combat medic and conscientious objector who saved dozens of lives during that battle without even carrying a weapon. This film captures both the carnage of the battlefield and the enduring spirit of individual heroism. In August 1945, the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, leading to Japan's surrender at the end of World War II. These events also ushered in the nuclear age, forever altering the course of history. Christopher Nolan's 2023 epic Oppenheimer delves into the moral and scientific complexities surrounding the development of the bomb. With its cerebral intensity and ethical questioning, the film offers a sobering meditation on humanity's newfound destructive power. Finally, on September 2nd, 1945, VJ Day, Japan formally surrendered aboard the USS Missouri, officially ending the most devastating conflict in human history. But for those returning home, the war was far from over. The Best Years of Our Lives from 1946 explores the emotional and psychological challenges faced by American veterans as they reintegrate into a society that had changed in their absence. Deeply human and profoundly moving, the film remains a timeless tribute to those who carried the war's invisible wounds long after the fighting had stopped. World War II was a global conflict of unimaginable scale, but through the lens of cinema we can follow its story, from the rise of tyranny to the triumph of peace. These films don't just entertain, they illuminate history. If you enjoyed this journey through wartime cinema, don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and let us know in the comments which World War II films left the biggest impact on you.